Hello, everyone. Welcome to XSmarks. XSmarks. Welcome to XSmarks with Rick the Hammer. I am your host, Chriz, aka the Mole, and joining me is Marcus Shadow.
Hello.
And we don't have a gym right now, but I am being told he is expected live in the building later tonight.
Woo.
Live, people. However, it is worth noting we will find out as well who ran him over in the parking lot. More on that later. My guess is it was Richter.
He did it for the crispy.
He did. No, that'd be the equivalent of texting himself.
Which is the modern equivalent of I did it for The Rock. So that works.
At least The Rock is a different person than himself. But no, today we decided to, since last week we did pay-per-view, next week's pay-per-view, and we're down a person, we decided, let's mix it up a bit and let's just do a discussion for this week. So this week we're going to be listing and discussing the dream matches and feuds we want to see. The limitations was no Diva v Superstars. We were limited to 3 cross-gens and 2 cross-promotional purposes only out of the 7 we chose. In case you're wondering, well, why didn't they use this, and this? It's probably because the limitations would have stopped us.
Yeah.
Which that was the point, because everyone's going to have the obvious ones on their list. So you're like, well, if we limit it, we're going to have some unobvious ones.
Yeah.
So starting us first with his number 7, and the reason we did 7 is we're expecting duplicates.
Yeah.
But taking us away with his number 7 is Marcus Shadow.
All right. Well, I'm going to go with the obvious ones first. And actually, my 2 obvious ones are my 2 cross-promotional ones. So I'll start with the uber obvious one, the one that everyone wants to see, Undertaker versus Sting. Ministry versus WCW Crow. Just come on. That writes itself. How has that not been done? But it's probably not going to happen now. Not with Sting's like neck injury and stuff. He's probably done, which means that
it's definitely not going to happen now because he's not WCW and Undertaker's not Ministry.
No, but I'm just saying, just that feud, that fight is probably not going to happen because it could have still happened prior to Seth Rollins nearly snapping his neck on a turnbuckle. But now that's probably not going to happen because of that injury. Because from what I can recall, from what you guys said, doesn't Sting now have the same injury that Edge does?
We don't know. It seems like he may have injured the same part, but he may have another match in him or two. Like Edge had a couple of matches after his injury. Like Edge had a year or 2 after his injury. It just then nagged and got really hard.
Yeah.
So he might have some matches in him.
Yeah, but even if he does, I don't know that I'd want to see Taker. I mean, I would still want to see Taker v Sting just because Taker v Sting. However, part of me would be like, but with Taker like basically concussion prone and Sting, if he's like seriously injured, so he's not gonna be the same as he was, the match probably won't be that good.
Yeah, you're saying it's probably a few years too late to do that. It'd be like, I don't know. It'd be like, I don't know, teaming Scooby-Doo with, I don't know, Kiss today. That'd just be stupid.
What is up with that?
And why do I want to see it?
Yeah, why is that a thing? But yeah, no. But back in the day, I would have loved to have seen that because that's right around when I started watching WWE. Was the Monday Night Wars. So at that point, we were flipping between like WCW and WWF. Watched mostly WWF, but when we flipped over, see the NWO, see Sting. So like I knew who Sting was, and I'd seen him do some things and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, come on, this writes itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like Sting. And obviously, I like Undertaker.
Yeah,
I think that would have been a great feud. Like I said, if they'd done it modern day, I kind of would have liked Biker Taker, just so we had more promos.
Yeah. Yeah, and that Biker Taker would also work better with modern Sting, with how they're doing Sting now, where he comes out to cut his promos. He comes out in like a fucking t-shirt instead of like in the jacket and the tights and stuff.
Yep. He's more like a hybrid Sting.
Yeah.
He's reminding me bits of like Showtime Sting and NWO Sting and stuff.
Yeah. I like Sting, Modern Sting. Modern Sting was cool. Kind of sad that he got injured. I was like, oh, because it was a good match up until that point, and it's like, kadoom! And as soon as I saw that and saw him like try to get up and then not get up, I was like, oh, match is over. Wow.
And I will say, my number 7, cross-promotional match. Jeff Jarrett in his Slapnuts persona v Triple H under his Game persona. I say Game persona because that's Triple H right after he became the Game the first time. I mean, even though he still uses the name.
No. Triple H with long hair.
Sort of. And we may actually have a James Phoenix.
Yeah, he won't have a list though, but that's fine.
He can respond to ours.
Yeah. So Slapnuts, is that early WWF Jarrett?
No, WCW.
WCW, okay.
Because when you follow the path of Triple H and Jeff Jarrett, they actually have very similar career paths. Like they've both ended up in charge of companies. They've both ended up like, one uses a sledgehammer predominantly as a weapon. Another uses a guitar predominantly as a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
They have very similar things. Like Triple H is, I am the Game, I'm the King of Kings. Jeff Jarrett's like, I'm the King of the Mountain and stuff.
True.
Like, well, a lot of people may not like to see this, and this may not be the best match. I don't know. Their similarities were so much that I would just like to see it. I don't even know which one would be the face and which one would be the heel. I'm guessing
Triple H would probably be the face.
I was guessing Triple H may be the face, depending.
Yeah.
Because I could see Triple H working as the face if he's in the middle of if Jeff Jarrett's invading WWE or WWF.
Wasn't that Slapnuts King of the Mountain gimmick? Now that you mentioned it, wasn't that a heel gimmick though?
So is Triple H's the Game when he's like, I don't need friends, I don't need a stable, I am the fucking Game to Jim Ross, and then goes off on his own and instantly joined Corporation.
True, but the Game has been both.
Technically, arguably, because like I said, his main Game persona, the one I was on about, was more when he was heel.
True, yeah, when he first did, he was heel.
So, and Jeff Jarrett's Slapnut stuff has been face as well.
Fair enough. Ah, okay, fair enough. Wasn't aware. I didn't see a lot of him on WCW. I remember him on WWF.
He was in the main event a lot, but yeah, Jeff Jarrett v Triple H. That was my number 7.
Yeah, I have to
James Phoenix.
Hey, Jim. If he's there.
Hello.
Hey.
We're just we know you want to have anything for this, Jim. So, but you can respond to ours. We're doing dream feuds and matches, and we wrote down 7 in case there was duplicates.
Okay.
If anything comes to mind,
there was a discussion just because there was you and we were down to Rick as well, obviously. So it's like okay.
Yeah. But if you think of anything comes to mind, feel free to interject with that. But yeah, I have to agree with you, Mole. In terms of match quality, probably not going to be that good a match, but the feud would be fucking amazing.
I was saying, I don't know if many people would like it as a match, but I will make the case Jeff Jarrett in his prime and Triple H in his prime were both actually really great wrestlers. They were both great technical wrestlers, and I'd like to see it.
Yeah, they were both good wrestlers. I don't know that they would have that much chemistry in the ring together. That's kind of what I'm looking at. But I don't know, it could be good.
Yeah, it could go either way, but I just think the feud itself with the egos would just be amazing.
True. Yeah.
Plus, like I said, if it was done right, especially with today's production value of feud videos, like I said, with the fact that careers follow the same path means you can milk the shit out of it.
This is true, too. Actually, if they wanted to do it as an invasion angle, it could still happen. GWA v WWE.
It wouldn't be them in their prime.
No.
It'd be old, useless Triple H if he hasn't wrestled in a few years, Jarrett.
Really? I thought he'd been wrestling like for TNA stuff. Like, didn't he just have like a title match or some shit?
He's had a match now and again, but he's been mainly retired, and I think he's had less matches than Triple H has.
Okay, cool. I
think he just came back for one match for the purposes of kicking off the TNA versus Global Force feud.
Yeah.
But over to Marcus for his number 6.
Pop.
Did Jim have any? Did Jim have one he wanted to interject or not anymore?
I can interject one.
I was going to say I figured we'd leave Jim's to last in case he's got the same ones we have on our lists.
Fair
Good
enough.
point. Good point. Okay.
Yeah,
And that we also give him time to jot down some.
Indeed.
True.
Yeah.
All right.
Just
So.
I'm gonna say, just out of curiosity, how much of the show did I miss? Just so I know at what
just
point
started.
You missed Marcus's number 7, which he can refresh to you. And you also missed the fact the limitations where you can't do Divas v Superstars. It's 3 cross-generation matches and 2 cross-promotional matches. And if you take one from one era and one from another era in a company, that would count as both cross-promotional and cross-gen.
Cross-generation and 2 cross...
Yeah, you don't have to have them, but it's...
I'm just making a note of it if I think of anything.
So you couldn't just do all, like, say, like 80s Hogan v Damian Sandow.
Also, the other rule, no fighting against themselves, i.e. Corporate Kane v Demon Kane, not allowed.
Fair enough.
Or Mick Foley v Mankind, not allowed.
Gotcha. So, does this... I'm sorry, I'm a little confused with the schedule. Does that mean that I missed franchised, or...?
No,
we're
fantastic.
doing that after this.
Yeah, we mentioned to you we were going to do this one earlier so that you could be there because you said you were going to miss it, so we'd started this one a little earlier after we'd watched Nemesis together.
Yes, but earlier I thought it was supposed to be like 2 hours ago, but fair enough, whatever.
Oh no, we always had it down for like an hour before.
Yeah. So my number 7, just to catch you up, Jim, was I took the obvious one, Taker v Sting. So
fair enough.
Moving on. So my number 6, as I said at the top of this show, is my other cross-promotional match and is another obvious one. And given, like I said, I started watching the thick of the Attitude Era, this is a feud I always wanted to see from the word go. And that's NWO versus DX. Again, another one that kind of writes itself.
Which versions?
NWO, it's basically the core. So NWO of Hogan, Nash, and Hall versus, I guess I would say original DX. I kind of came in near the tail end of that, or more toward the larger DX. However, I think original DX works better because it's literally 3 guys and China.
Yeah, that's the reason I was asking which version, because I literally had on my list NWO, Hall, Hogan, Nash, VDX, HBK, Triple H, and Rick Rude.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Just because that's the DX that matters.
Yeah.
Just like that's the NWO that matters.
Yeah. But because I didn't see that incarnation, I almost forgot Rick Rude was a part of DX. I was like, I have Shawn Michaels and Triple H, and I don't want to put China in the match, so I'm going to have to go later. And I was like, wait, Rick Rude was in DX. It works.
Yeah. Everybody forgets that because while they were going around in T-shirts and green spray paint, he was just standing in the background in a suit. He blended in.
I remember him. Mainly because that was my favourite version of DX.
Mm.
Yeah. But I mean, come on, that right there's a war, and that right there was representative of that was the Monday Night War right there, effectively, in terms of representation, in terms of, because those were the big factions.
Nice.
It's like, I want to see that, but not now.
Yeah, I could see that. Like I say, that would be a good match, and it would just be cool because HBK, Triple H, Hogan, and Nash would definitely, Hall and Nash, would definitely have chemistry because friends. The only downside might be I don't know if Hogan would have chemistry with all of them. I mean, he definitely didn't have chemistry with Shawn Michaels. He had an okay match with Triple H, but I don't know if he'd have a good match with Rick Rude.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But that was my number 2, which means when we get to number 2, I will just literally just say I already gave mine.
Fair enough. But that is the one unfortunate thing with this particular feud is if we take them at that time, Hogan would play the ego card and the I'm Hulk Hogan card, and that could potentially fuck the whole thing over.
Depending on who you believe.
True. Well, it also depends on who has the control over the story. Is it more of a WWF driven story, or is it because if WCW has the control, I could totally see like the NWO pulling that shit behind the scenes.
Yeah, and if it's WWE, let's not forget DX would pull the same stuff as the Click. We're famous for doing this.
Yeah, pretty much.
Actually, you know what? Given the fact,
in fact, there's more cases of the Click doing it than there was when there was proven cases of Hulk Hogan doing it.
actually, now that you mention it, given this feud, I don't think Hulk Hogan would be able to do anything because the Click would tell him to fuck off.
Maybe. And yeah, there's less instances of Hulk Hogan doing it, but the ones that there are bigger, because I'm pretty sure Triple H doing it never resulted in person he doing it to coming out on national television and calling him a piece of shit and telling him he will never be on TV again.
You mean the one that Eric Bischoff said was actually not what was supposed to happen or anything like that? Literally, the plan was what Bischoff said it was. Hogan and everyone agreed, but Russo kept saying, no, I want to do my idea. Waited until everyone left, did his idea anyway, when Bischoff was at a fucking funeral for his father, and then wonders why Hogan and stuff took complaints, and Hogan successfully did sue him. But what Russo didn't say is what he sued him for was breach of contract, because in his contract it says if he's in a meeting and everyone, including the head of the company, has agreed upon something, that's what's meant to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, no, Bischoff wasn't at a funeral with his father. He was with Hogan because the plan was, according to Bischoff, he said he and Hogan would leave together and just not be seen for a while because that was the plan because Hogan was going to leave and then he was going to come back later and they were going to have this big story. They were like either in the limo or on the plane leaving, and then he gets this call. You need to watch what's going on right now. Look at what Russo is doing. And Bischoff's like, wait, what? And so Bischoff and Hogan looked at it and they were like, oh, hell no. He did not just do that.
Yeah, they were, but like I also mentioned, Marcus, there was also the case of when Russo came out on TV on the Nitro and said that Eric Bischoff said he was actually at a funeral for his father. That's why he wasn't there to basically punch him in the face and tell the fans what really happened.
Fair enough.
So yeah, that's not a bad incident, Jim.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I think given who's involved. Yeah, I think given who would have been involved with the NWO DX one, I think it would have worked well because it's basically the Click, Rick Rude, and Hogan, and I think the Click would have been able to rein the others in I think it would have been a good feud and good matches. I really do.
I can see that.
With all of them like in their prime.
See, I just think it depends which company was doing it, because if it's WWF, as we've seen how they've handled WCW stuff, they'd have to make DX seem dominant. And if it's WCW, same thing.
Yeah.
The only problem I would have with doing it at this point in time is it's not really Shawn Michaels at his prime. It's Shawn Michaels with his back hurting like fuck. So in that respect, I would have almost if I was going to put Shawn Michaels in it, I would almost say wait and use the later incarnation of DX just so Shawn Michaels can actually wrestle.
So the third man's hornswoggle?
Or see, the problem is if you wait that long, then it ceases being WCW and WO. But
but the reason I say that is because the other DX, Shawn Michaels wasn't wrestling. He couldn't wrestle at the time. He wasn't in it. He was the commissioner. He only ever came back in DX properly.
Yeah.
Later on, so he wasn't in it with fucking the 1-2-3 kid and those jobbers.
Yeah. That's the problem. That would be my only concern with this feud is everyone else would have to carry Shawn because he was so injured at that point in time. Which they could do at that point, and they would because they were.
To be fair, he put on a good match with Austin at WrestleMania. He could do a good match, especially if it's a tag, so he doesn't have to be in the ring all the time.
True.
That's true. I got a better idea. We'll make this amazing. We'll populate DX with a bunch of their jobber members, and we'll have NWO rally around their arch enemy. It'll be great.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my number 6. So over to the mole.
Mine is the Divas match, and this is my cross-gen one. Just because it's really obvious. Beth Phoenix v. Chyna.
Nice.
Oh, I didn't think about that one. That's a good one.
Both. The only women to enter the Royal Rumble. Beth Phoenix being the only one to actually eliminate someone. And Chyna being the only woman to win the Intercontinental Championship. I think they could actually be able to build that up, as instead of it being just a Divas feud, they could actually build this up in a pretty huge way. Like, I could almost see it being the Divas equivalent of, like that big brawl they did for Taker v Brock, and how both seemed strong. I could see it being almost that. So I don't want to see that.
Cool. I agree. That'd be a great feud. I could see them if they wanted to build it up and really make it kind of interesting and relevant. What they do is along the way to even up the score, have whoever's holding it at the time through whatever means, have Beth Phoenix end up winning the Intercontinental title, and then have their big match before the Intercontinental title to prove which of them is the best female Intercontinental champion.
You could do that as well. That would also work.
Interesting. Yeah.
I just like the idea of these two working together.
Yeah, I think it would be great.
That'd be awesome.
Assuming they're working together in Beth Phoenix's current line of work and not China's current line of work. Not that would be bad either.
Well, if they're working together in Beth Phoenix's current line of work, it's painting.
Is that what she's doing now?
Yeah, she currently paints pictures and sells art, and stuff, which is cool.
I thought
her family, which means I would rather watch those two go at it in porn. Sorry, Jim.
No, I agree with you. I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if Beth was doing anything on the indie circuit or what she was doing right now.
You heard it live here, folks. Jim would rather watch paint dry than women fuck.
No. No.
I don't know. What do you think, Marcus? Do you think it's a fact?
It is now Goofle Hangouts canon.
But you can have to create so because Richter controls the Google Hangouts canon.
But
I'll just tell Richter.
He controls it and he's put me in charge. So I will make it legal.
Hey,
now, over to Marcus for number 5.
All right, and we'll go over to my Divas feud, which is also cross-generational. And I have Alundra Blaze versus Charlotte Flair. Because I think that'd be an awesome match. Now, granted, I didn't really ever see Alundra Blaze or Medusa. But from what little I've seen and from what I've heard, she was really, really good in the ring and a really good wrestler. In fact, I think that's why she left WWE, because they weren't really using her as a wrestler and she got pissed off. So it's like I kind of would like to, yeah, just looking at her, having seen her come back and just looking at her build, I could totally buy her being a super legitimate wrestler in the ring. And it's like, given her height and her build, I'm like, dude, I would totally want to see her mix it up with Charlotte in the ring. I think that would be a great feud, and I think it would make for awesome matches.
Will it have wooing?
It would have to, because it's WWE.
Oh, good. As long as they remind us who Charlotte's dad is. God, thank God. When I'm watching Charlotte in the ring, if they go 5 minutes without mentioning Ric Flair's name, I'm like, what? Whose daughter is she? What? I've forgotten. And then she'll woo, and I'm like, oh, thank God, I remembered.
Somebody reminded her.
Yeah, I thought she was the daughter of Test.
Yeah, but you are correct in that, Mark. Alundra Blaze was for quite a time, she was basically the only quote-unquote diva, because at that time, WWE, or WWF as it was known at the time, had kind of moved away from women's wrestling ever since the Fabulous Moolah had won the women's title and had basically just kept it. So at that point, they really hadn't gone in that direction, but they realized that that they needed something, an edge to try to, get attention back from WCW. So they started bringing Alundra Blaze and using her mostly as eye candy to draw the male fans back in.
They also had matches.
They had some matches too, but even Alundra complained that she was mostly used a lot more for the eye candy than for the matches, and she was like the only star diva they really had. It's basically just her versus random diva jobbers. So really, that's all it was, and that's what kind of triggered that section of the Monday Night War, as we saw in that lovely special that we put together that we reviewed not long ago. How the response to that was our original was like, all right, well, I'm going to get a bunch of cheerleaders, ha!
No, to be fair, that one was a response to the Attitude Era bringing out Sable. Alundra Blaze, they actually gave Alundra Blaze some pretty good competition, and you can look to see all her matches and stuff on the W Network and stuff. They were pretty good, but then Vince was deciding we don't want to do women's wrestling anymore, and was just going to not showcase her on TV when she had the title. So she's like, yeah, okay. And she gets paid more money and gets to do the thing she likes, so she's like, yeah, okay, whatever.
And she gets to drop Vince's title in the bin on TV.
Yeah, she was talked into that, to be fair, but Yeah, she gets to do that. Which, to be fair, you could see Vince doing the same thing.
Oh yeah, totally.
And to be fair, from her perspective, she didn't really see anything wrong with it because she was like, well, it's just a work. And she basically told Bischoff when Bischoff did, she was a little reluctant, but she said, look, as long as I get it back when we're done, I'm cool with that because I kind of have to give this back to them. And Bischoff was like, okay, sure. And that's the only reason she did it is because they weren't going to keep the title. They just wanted to use it for a work on TV. And she was like, okay, it's a work. I don't care. That's fine.
Technically, I believe she didn't give it back to him.
Well, I don't think she ended up giving it back to him until like now, but that's what she originally had told Bischoff of. As long as I get it back when you're done with it, because I need to give it back to him.
It was to get it back, but it wasn't to give it back to him per se. Because as they've mentioned in the past with that as well, like you'll notice, like when they showed like The Rock's home and he has all those titles, every time they win the title, they give him a replica title of that title. Basically, that was her personal title. So
that's not how she tells it. That's not how she tells it, because she literally outright said that's what she said to Bischoff when he said, "Will you drop the title in the bin?" She said that her response to Bischoff was, yeah, I'll do it as long as I get it back when you're done with it, because I kind of have to give this back to the WWF because it's their property. And Bischoff was like, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, she's mentioned in the past as well, though, if you'd heard what she said, she said that to Bischoff to get the title back because she wasn't sure if it was her personal property, if WCW would turn and say, and just not care and get it lost. But if they know they can get sued if it's lost...
Fair enough.
Suddenly, everyone finds it.
True.
And in all fairness, she did give it back. It took a lot of years until they went to the Hall of Fame, but she pulled it back out of the bin and gave it back.
She did. But
yeah. But yeah, Thunder Blaze v. Charlotte. I think that'd be an awesome feud.
Nice.
Very nice.
My number 5?
And you can make that feud happen in 2K16. Oh, wait, they didn't put the 4 Horsewomen in.
Yes, but my number 5, Bret the Hitman Hart v. CM Punk.
Yeah.
Best there is versus the best in the world. Cross-gen. Just makes sense. That would be a great match, and just based on the tagline of best there is versus best in the world, you can easily milk the shit out of it.
Best in the world is Jericho.
I was going to say no triple threat with Jericho. Plus, Bret Hart invented that before Jericho. Boom. So yeah, Bret Hart v CM Punk. I think that'd be a great match.
That would be a great match.
I would.
More Bret
now,
Hart.
Would it be face Bret Hart or heel Bret Hart?
I'd make the case make them both face.
Okay.
Well, face v face, like Rock v Cena, Hogan, and stuff like that. Whenever they do matches like that, they can be big draws, and I'm thinking this would build to WrestleMania and face CM Punk doing like the modern, edgy people, with Bret doing more the family traditional people. It could be great for both people.
True.
But like I said, more on Bret next. But first, over to Marcus for his number 4.
All right. On number 4, I'm going to go with Chris Jericho versus Tyler Breeze.
I can hear that.
I preferred that better when it was called Chris Jericho v Miz.
Oh!
I'm kidding. I'm going
to be honest, I think Tyler Breeze is a better wrestler than Miz. I like Tyler Breeze.
Tyler Breeze is a little better in the ring than when they let Miz go full at it, but Miz is definitely better at promos.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Tyler Breeze is still learning. That's not on the main roster yet.
Which, that's what you'd want for a Jericho feud. But I would make the case, like I said, I was just joking, Tyler Breeze v Jericho would be fucking awesome.
Yeah, it would. Make it happen, WWE. Come on, Triple H, you're our friend. Make it happen.
Yeah, move Prince Pretty to the main roster. He's earned it, dude.
Or put Jericho on NXT to feud with him. Jericho would do it.
He would.
Just as a one-off feud, he'd do it.
He would.
But yeah, the Ayatollah Rock and Roller versus Prince Pretty.
That could be awesome. My number 4, which it should be higher up in terms of how much this should have fucking happened. But I've put it here because I think the other ones are bigger feuds overall nowadays with people. But Bret the Hitman Hart in 1997 when WCW had his fucking contract going against Hollywood Hulk Hogan. When Bret Hart is red hot and has all the people behind him because he was screwed over and he was betrayed and everyone's rallying behind him against the heel machine at the NWO with Hulk Hogan in front of it. They crossed paths a little bit in WCW, but it was more like Bret was like, you know, like the extra person for like a couple of matches in between in the Sting Hogan feud. Then Hogan always seemed to, well, not Hogan, but yeah, Hogan and Bret basically always seemed to be positioned to be on the same side from then on, so they never went against each other. So it's like, But Bret Hart, when he's fucking shit hot against Hulk Hogan, when he's shit hot with the NWO storyline, like, how did you not do this? That prints money.
Well, wasn't there some bullshit about needing Bret Hart to cool down or something?
The reason was because, as Bischoff mentioned, he wanted to leave Bret because he was doing Thunder, which was going to launch the next year or so, and basically he didn't want to keep diluting his roster because he basically, like the brand split, he wanted superstars were going to be exclusive to Thunder and ones exclusive to Nitro, which makes sense because if you overexpose your superstars, people get sick of them.
Yeah.
However, as a result of that, he missed out on how fucking hot Bret Hart was. It's one of the biggest mistakes they've ever made.
Yeah.
And it didn't help him because if I recall, Bischoff said correctly, it didn't really matter because when Thunder came along, nobody would go on fucking Thunder anyway, so the show bombed immediately.
Yep. But, which, yeah, like I said, Thunder was pretty okay at parts, but yeah, basically with Bret Hart v Hulk Hogan, like that, I made sure to put Hollywood Hulk Hogan, so this isn't a cross, Jen. Woo. And it doesn't count as cross promotion because he's under contract. But yeah, it's Hulk Hogan v Bret Hart because, like I said, the feud wrote itself. Hulk Hogan with the NWO, who were basically people were believing were hired by Vince to take over WCW. The Bret, the guy Vince screwed over and basically kicked out the door for all his hard work. He's literally the perfect everyman for people to rally behind against the perfect heel. But yeah, that was my number 4.
Great stuff.
Fair enough. All right, my number 3.
Can
Can I interject for 1 second?
Hmm?
I don't mean to interject, but I don't know if it's this way to the audience, but it is a little bit to me. Could whoever has your TV on mute it, please?
I don't know whose TV that is.
That would probably be Mole, because my TV's been muted the whole time.
I don't know, I'm hearing voices in the background. At one point, I thought I heard The Rock saying, "If you smell what The Rock is cooking," but I could be wrong.
I'm literally not watching wrestling.
Okay, well, I thought, like I said, I just heard some minor talking in the background that was cropping up now and again, so that's why I just wanted to address it.
No, my TV's fine. My TV's not even loud. How about yours? Jeff's is muted. I don't hear it on Jeff's end, and he hasn't heard it on mine.
Well, I can hear what Jim is talking about barely. Oh, well, right now I don't hear anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my TV's literally been on mute the whole time.
Weird.
But yeah.
Phantom noises, people. Anyway, my number 3. I'm going with the Ultimate Opportunist versus the Architect. Edge versus Seth Rollins.
Oh, if you're going to say versus the old guy at the end of the Matrix.
No. That's the Vince Russo feud for later. But no, Edge v. Rollins. Come on, you can't tell me that wouldn't be an amazing feud. They would put on some really good matches too. One hell of a match.
That would be awesome.
Edge in his prime. So that's one of my cross-generational ones, because obviously Edge can't wrestle now, so it wouldn't work.
That would be awesome. I would like to see them try and out-cheat each other.
Mm-hmm. Because I will admit, having just that little bit of taste of Edge v Rollins with what they've done with Edge and Rollins, I'm like, oh, I want to see this as a full-blown feud. This would be awesome.
What does Jim think?
That would be awesome.
And it's ironic because I'm not that huge of an Edge fan. I really don't like the guy, but he was great in the ring.
In fact, it wouldn't just be awesome, it would reek of awesomeness.
Yeah,
Yes, it would.
Edge is definitely awesome. But yeah, fair enough. My number
Don't
three.
forget to check out Edge on his new TV show.
Yep.
I
My
don't
number.
remember what the name of the show is.
Okay, but my number three, as I keep trying to say, I'm going to take us back in time to a few to just a few WrestleManias ago. Undertaker putting his streak on the line in a full-blown WrestleMania feud, and obviously I'm going to have Undertaker win it, but because I'm going to still have the feud carry on like it is now, I'm just replace that with one of the fucking Triple H ones, or the CM Punk one, or anything like that. But it's going to be Undertaker putting his streak on the line against Chris Jericho.
Nice.
Because those two have had a match, but they've never had a fucking feud. And I'm like, well, the best time for it probably would have been the streak, because I could totally see Jericho trying to be the one to break it.
Yeah. To cement his legacy as the best in the world. Like, yeah, I'm the one that broke the streak, so I am the best in the world.
Yeah. I beat Austin and The Rock in the same night. I can beat Undertaker in one. Yeah, and you could just see that working. And Jericho's great on the mic. Undertaker's great on the mic. They've had great chemistry in their matches against each other. But every single time they're throwaway matches. They're not full-blown programs. I'm like,
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that seems to happen sometimes. It's like that one badass ladder match that Jeff Hardy had with the Undertaker, and then they never did anything like that again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but with the Jeff Hardy one, I'd make the case that is a shame, but I never really would have picked Jeff Hardy to go in a feud with the Undertaker. But Jericho,
I wouldn't have either. I just really like that match.
I know, I like that match, but I just mean with how big Jericho was as well, because that seems weird there, because Undertaker's fought in 20 odd years when he's been there. He's fought every single main eventer WWE's had.
Except Jericho.
And he's had feuds with like nearly all of them. The only one, but Jericho just for some reason is the girl that got away.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Let's make that the Jericho standards. He could beat Kane and the Undertaker in the same night.
Yeah. Don't even think he could beat Goldberg in one night.
There's another feud we never got to see: Jericho versus Goldberg in a WCW pay-per-view.
Yep, but this is Dream On.
Speaking of which, did you guys hear that the Brothers of Destruction were reunited for the first time in like forever?
Yep, in the same show that injured Adam Rose. But he's okay.
Oh, really? Was Adam Rose in Mexico?
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. They're like, well, we're using Demon Kane now, and Demon Kane is a face. Fuck it, Undertaker.
Yeah, we have Undertaker here, so why not?
Yeah, go for it.
That's awesome.
But yeah, like I said, I think that feud would have been awesome.
It would have been.
Over to Marcus for his number 2.
Indeed.
Yes, my number 2. The last in the line of the cross-generational. I have CM Punk versus Hideo Itami.
Ooh.
Go to sleep versus go to sleep. The man who took it versus the man who invented it.
Nice.
See, I'd more want to see CM Punk v James Phoenix of Go to Sleep versus Put You to Sleep.
Nice.
See, now, if we didn't have the limitations, I probably would have said CM Punk v Kenta, because I'm pretty sure he was probably better as Kenta, because that was probably more his prime. But because I was limited, I was like, okay, well, it has to be Hideo Itami.
You could have looked.
What do you mean?
Because logically speaking, CM Punk, he's worked Ring of Honor, he's worked New Japan Pro Wrestling and stuff like that.
True, but I would have wanted...
So then you could have had them when they're both at the same time.
I could have, but then that wouldn't have put CM Punk at his prime, because I was thinking CM Punk when he was with the WWE. when he was using like the go to sleep and stuff in WWE.
Fair enough.
Well, versus Hideo Itami works because he's still good. Kenta's still awesome. So
Indeed.
I always preferred the Pepsi plunge.
Pepsi plunge was awesome too. Well, if I was gonna do that, I would do CM Punk v Triple H, Pepsi plunge versus pedigree.
We had that. It didn't work out.
Wait a minute, I played 2K15. I thought it was the soda plunge.
But no, Punk v Itami. I think that'd be a great feud, and I think it would be some awesome matches.
I agree.
I agree. I could see a cool match.
And then teasing the go to sleep would actually make sense because it's like, oh, who's going to actually hit it? Who's going to actually hit it? As opposed to, we don't want to let
they
it.
both hit it at the same time.
As opposed to, we don't want Tommy to hit it because CM Punk. It's like, well, fuck you.
Oh, they don't want him to hit it, mainly probably because he's still learning WWE's style. He may hurt him with how he does it normally.
That is possible.
Maybe.
But my number 2 I already gave. Hall, Hogan, Nash v HBK, Triple H, Rick Rude. So over to Jeff for his number 1.
And my number 1 in the top spot, because I think this would make an awesome match, and if he makes a full recovery, could be fucking awesome. Daniel Bryan versus Samoa Joe.
That probably happened in Ring of Honor.
I don't know, I didn't watch Ring of Honor. But it's like, Daniel Bryan, the modern day Chris Benoit, versus the Samoan submission machine. I mean, that just writes itself, and that would be some amazing technical matches.
That could work as well. I do like Samoa Joe.
And the thing is, I like also the other thing that I think would be really interesting with their matches in particular is not only do they have similar wrestling styles in that they're both like submission specialists and very technical, but they also have somewhat contrasting styles because Joe, while he's technical and has some speed on him, he's also power. He's big and strong, whereas Bryan is more the high flyer and the agile one. So you'll have that contrast as well as the similarities, and I think that could make for some really interesting matches.
Yes, in fact, Bryan Danielson and Samoa Joe did in fact have a feud in Ring of Honor. So you can check that match out. Not only that, how about this? They had a triple threat match with Kenta.
Nice.
But wait,
yeah, and then also,
Marcus,
of course,
Marcus must have watched that with how much he claims to have loved Kenta before he came to WF.
Yeah, I know. He should know that.
I never claimed to have loved Kenta before WWF. I had heard of him. But yeah. But also, Bryan is also more of a striker, whereas Samoa Joe's more of a grappler. So again, with that contrast and the similarities, I don't know. I really want to see that matchup. I think that would put butts in seats.
I agree. But I think my number 1 will put more butts in seats.
Okay.
And I checked, and they definitely were in the company at the wrestling at the same time for at least 1 year.
Okay.
Mr. WrestleMania goes one-on-one with the Great One.
Nice.
How did that not make my list?
The Rock v. Shawn Michaels.
God damn, how did that not make my list?
Because you have failed.
Yeah, you have failed this, Johnson.
Thank you.
Forgive me, Rocky.
But yeah, now, most of their primes did not coincide.
Nope.
Right, fair enough. Their injuries and different stuff, like, they were both faces, they didn't really want to do it, and all this other stuff, and various other stuff means basically that they just never had their feud. But they were around at the same time for a certain period.
Mm-hmm.
And they was both wrestling at the same time. Like Shawn Michaels, when he came back from his injury and stuff, it was around the time of Brock becoming huge. which is right around the time The Rock put Brock on the map, and obviously Evolution, and The Rock came back to face Evolution and stuff. It makes perfect sense to just do this with them both in their prime, and it would have been a great match. But it's just one of those things that never actually clicked, and it's one of those. I think this may be the greatest feud that never happened.
I could agree with that.
Agreed.
So now over to Jim for the ones he'd put down.
Okay, sure.
I don't know, how many did you put down, Jim?
I came up with 3.
Oh, okay.
Just that came up that I thought of as we were going through things here. Now let's see here. So 2 cross promotion. Okay, so strictly speaking,
If you only got 3, you can do anything.
yeah, so they're technically all cross generations, so
That's
that
fine.
works. Yeah, that'll work. And then technically one of them you could count. Technically one of them wouldn't have to be, because one of them you could do right now and it would still count. But
It doesn't matter. Within the rules, if you only got 3, and the fact not all 3 are cross promotional, it would count, because like we said, you can have 2 cross promotional and 3 cross gen, or you could have 2 cross gen cross promotionals and an extra cross promotional.
The cross gen.
fair enough. All right, so
Yes.
I think yeah, I'll go with that one. I like that one better. All right, so 3 of these. The first one that you were mentioning Hideo Itami earlier.
Mhm.
I thought about that and I said, ooh, you know what would go really well with that? If we're gonna go a little cross generational, how about Hideo Itami versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat?
That could be cool.
That could be interesting.
You know,
Not where I thought you were going to go with that.
No, because Hideo's got a little more of the technical, whereas Steamboat was a little more of the high flying. But they were both both excellent, excellent straight up wrestlers. Steamboat a little flashier, but they were both very good, just straight up wrestlers. Not a lot of, excessive stuff. Just boom, let's get down to it. Let's do this. I think that'll be a very interesting combination.
Nice.
So I had that one, and then I thought about this one because you were mentioning about butts in the seats.
Mm-hmm.
And where I initially thought you were going with, and you didn't go there. But since butts and seats were mentioned, I came to Mick Foley. I'm not sure which face of Foley. I'm leaning toward probably. I think a Cactus Jack would probably be the best for the feud if we're going in this direction, but Mankind would also work.
Okay.
But I'm thinking one of the faces of Foley versus Kevin Owens. Because they're both those unorthodox dudes who, by looking at them, you wouldn't expect them to be that good, and yet they're both really good for different reasons. Kevin Owens because he can actually move around the ring and get stuff done because of the speed you wouldn't expect, and Foley because it's unpredictability. You just don't know what Foley's gonna do to himself or to you.
Nice.
And it just seemed like that would be kind of an the feud of guys who you would not expect to be really good wrestlers but are.
And I think you're right. I think Cactus Jack would be the best choice for that.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
You need someone who's crazy enough and insane enough to be able to counter Kevin Owens.
Yeah, that's what I was leaning toward. When we were talking about insane and countering and things you wouldn't expect, the other one that popped into. Yes,
I would have gone with the other one.
Which one?
Normal Mick Foley.
That would have also worked.
That would work too.
Like he was with Triple H at one point and stuff years ago, like around WrestleMania 2000. I know that the pay-per-view sucks, but around then.
Yeah.
Just because you have the hardcoreness of Cactus Jack, but he also has the likability and he's the face value and being able to get the kids to cheer him of Mankind and stuff like that mixed into one. That's what you would need because Kevin Owens is a great heel. So you'd want someone who would really make all the kids want to see Kevin Owens get his butt kicked.
True, and that is the Mick Foley that got speared through a flaming table by Edge.
It is.
And yeah, that one makes sense because Kevin Owens could easily come out and just eat that up and just be like, what are you doing here, Mick Foley? I have shown what an unorthodox appearance wrestler should be. You're just a fat dude who beat himself up for entertainment. That they could easily play that up. Also, if you're going into the crazy what's he gonna do Cactus Jack style, that would also work well in a feud against Dean Ambrose. That just popped into my head randomly just because Dean Ambrose has been attempted to be built up as the what's he gonna do guy, even though it hasn't totally worked. And then the number one that had popped in my head that I thought would just be really good that you could either do now or you could do it a little bit in the past when one of these guys was in a slightly different persona. But I want to see like a Finn Balor versus Chris Jericho match, and I'm thinking Balor's probably going to be the face. I'm thinking if you went with the suit wearing, big word spewing Jericho, I feel like that would be a good contrast to Finn Balor.
I believe what you mean is you want to see Chris Jericho and Finn Balor feud. If you want to see their match, it's available on WWE Network right now from one of the live shows.
Oh, I'll have to watch that. Yeah, I want to see them feud. We'll go with that. I forgot they had that match. Nice. But
wasn't there matches? Wasn't that the Tokyo show?
I think it was, yeah.
I think it was. I never watched that. I have to go back and watch that.
I always watch them whenever they're on, so it's an extra hour of wrestling. It's fun.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, but I have to go watch that match. But I'd love to see them feud because I feel like if you book, and maybe because you book it as, Jericho, proper suit, Jericho, spewing big words, going with the intellectual. Finn Balor's, he's wearing his leather jacket. He's a little more. Don't do the demon. That's just unnecessary. But just have him come out. He's wearing his leather jacket. He's a little more street, a little more, average guy, a little more, And obviously, I represent every man,
Yeah.
Yeah, the face Jericho.
He's talking about Finn Balor.
I'm talking about Balor, you idiot.
I know, I'm saying Balor, but he
would be like the face Jericho. I got you. Yeah, that would work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll work. Go with that.
Cool. And I will give an honourable mention to one I honestly would have assumed would have been on Marcus's list or Jim's.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do it in the style you guys normally like. Goldberg in the middle of the ring says, "Who's next?" and then the glass shatters. Huh?
But that would have been just a 5-second. Austin comes down, stuns him, and leaves.
I don't know. Goldberg came out and literally did the same type of stuff in like 5 seconds and left during his matches. He's famous for it.
Yeah, but the difference is Austin's a better wrestler, or Austin is a wrestler. Austin would just come out, look at me like, "You're not worth my time." Stunned, leave.
That's not... Okay, if that's how this works, Austin never would have been champion over Shawn Michaels.
That is true.
If that's how this works, Austin never would have beat Bret Hart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Although I think we already saw it because I think Austin came to that conclusion at WrestleMania 20. He was like, "No, Goldberg, you are not a wrestler. You're bringing Brock down. No, Stunner. And Stunner to you too, Brock, for being terrible."
Yep, which means you could argue at the end of after he fought the Beast Incarnate himself, the man who ended the streak at WrestleMania, and he fought him at WrestleMania, Austin took a weakened Goldberg, stunned him, and Goldberg still walked away afterwards.
That is true.
But the only reason I give an honourable mention to this feud is I don't care if you like Austin, and I don't care if you like Goldberg more, or if you don't like either. Like, I don't really care about either. That's the matchup people wanted to see. Back in the day when there was WCW and there was WWE, or WWF, depending on which one you want to go with, basically the matchup everyone talked about was Goldberg v Austin. Everyone had their favourite, everyone had their least favourite. Oh, the jackhammer v the stunner and stuff. So, and with like how easily Austin ran through the corporation or Goldberg ran through the NWO, you could easily see both of those two face to face in like a big brawl, and you wouldn't know who the fuck would win.
Mm-hmm. Oh dear God, that could have got even worse.
Hmm?
The two of them teamed up because they had to stop the New World Corporation. That would have been horrible.
Yeah, I actually have a couple of honorable mentions that popped into my head as we were talking. I'm like, oh man, I should have put those on the list. One.
Very well, man who did not put The Rock on his list, who has been declared jabroni. You may continue.
The first one, I'm going to give you the
Why Rock
tagline.
talk like Grimlock?
Yes, I'm going to give you the tagline and see if you can figure out where I'm going with this. The tagline for this feud is "out of nowhere."
You're going with this feud. You want to see Hornswoggle, who kept coming out of nowhere from the bottom of the ring, versus Dink, who came out of nowhere from the bottom of the ring.
No, but that would be a hilarious feud. I didn't think of that one either. That's actually kind of funny.
I'm assuming DDP v Randy Orton.
Yes, DDP in his prime, yes. Can you imagine how crazy a feud that would be? Since they're both, they're both well known for out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like DDP invented out of nowhere.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting feud because you could build that up like it'd be one of those things where everybody would turn out both of them because they'd be trying to one up each other. So they'd every week you tune in and they're just it'd be kind of like that one time where that time of a couple of months ago where Randy Orton decreed that in preparation for Rollins he was going to RKO everybody he walked across, and he started doing it all night.
Yeah, because it was banned at the match.
Yeah, and so he would it would be great. Like he and DDP would just like show up and people would just be like randomly RKO and a Diamond Cutter in every scene of the night.
Yep.
That'd be hilarious. Yeah, I just think A, I think they would put on a great match, and B, because they basically have the same finishing move, it's like it would just be the whole match would be like, okay, who's going to get it off first, and how are they going to do it?
I could see that, but yeah, like I said, there is loads of these dream matches and stuff, and I'm sure everyone has their favourites, or everyone out there talked about some sort of style of dream match on a Big Show v Andre the Giant.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't watch that, but
Andre would win.
Actually, the other one I had in my head was Swagger versus Angle.
I've always kind of wanted to see that myself.
I always wanted to see Angle v Hart.
That'd be a good feud too.
That would be good too. Here's what I want to see. I want to see Kurt Angle and the World's Greatest Tag Team versus Jack Swagger and those two dudes that lost in the NXT Tag Team Tournament against frickin' Rhino and Corbin in the first round.
That'd be interesting.
I want to see Big Zeke v Brock Lesnar. Suplex, powerbomb, suplex, powerbomb, suplex, powerbomb, suplex, powerbomb.
Now, they weren't power bombs; they were power slams.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't make them good.
No, it doesn't.
But yeah, as you said, Mo, yeah, everybody has their dream matches, and we'd be interested to hear yours.
We would. So leave your comments below. And I was your host for this one, Chriz, aka The Mole. And I will leave you and say good night.